Hi there, I'm Tracy with the 3-Wick Thesis candle channel. I have a video for you today where I'm doing an update on the 8 new Goose Creek luxury line candles. I'll also preface this recording with I'm in a new location, I have some new equipment that I'm trying out, and this is also the cat area. So you're gonna see my cats in this video quite a bit. There's two over here on my right. The Siamese, his name is PB. The one in the window, that's Maud. It's actually a boy cat, but we named him Maud. And you'll see Marco, my third one, around here somewhere. He looks just like Maud, but I think floofier. So anyways, this is their territory and I am in it, so they're going to be a tear, just to put that out there. But it's my life, so I'm sharing it with you. So the warm impression on these candles, some of them did evolve and it changed my ranking of where I want to put them. So I am going to share the warm impressions. I took some very rudimentary notes on just like a piece of scrap paper. So I'll start with what I'm putting in like last place, but I'll add the caveat that I think these are all really good candles. There is one, that's the one in last place, that I probably wouldn't keep if it weren't for the fact that I'd already burned it and I just don't feel like going through Goose Creek and getting a $10 credit. Plus, my husband liked it, so we're going to keep it, but it's one that I normally, if I had warmed this on the lamp first, would have returned because it's just not my thing. So why don't I start with that one? This one is what I'm considering to be in placeholder number 8, and that's the Lost in Nature. Now, when you light this, really all you get is that cedar. It's really strong, and the suede note in it, they're calling it raw suede, comes across as pretty cologne-y. This is a very masculine scent, so if you like earthy, masculine candles, I would say get this one. It reminds me a little bit of Oud by Goose Creek, and it also reminds me a little bit of their new fragrance, Mountainside, which I also did a review for. If you're interested, it was a Lighting the Way episode, so I'll link that in the description below. It just has that deep, earthy note to it, but then that suede is cologne-y, and so for me, it's just not something I'm a fan of. I'm not a huge fan of cologne-y scents anyways. My husband did make the comment that he thinks it smells really good, but he said it's not what I think of when I think of what nature smells like. So maybe, think of this as like you went on a hike with someone who's wearing cologne. That's the best way that I can phrase it. I'm not a fan. Again, I probably would not keep it if I hadn't already burned it and if my husband didn't like it. So this one is coming in 8th. That did push what was originally my number 8 choice on cold impressions into slot number 7. This is the Sunday fragrance. Now on warm, this one did evolve a little bit. The white floral really went up. Yeah, it's completely different from the cold scent, I feel. The white floral really, really increased, and this candle ended up feeling more springy. Like, I actually feel like this candle is perfect as like a spring break candle because you get the white floral that feels kind of strong, and that's coming from the tuberose. But then you've got the beachy vibe from the coconut that makes me think that it's like springtime, but you're like at a tropical location for spring break. Right there, it just gives this really nice vibe of spring and summer combined. The pineapple completely disappears on warm. I could not smell it. So if there's any sort of brightness or sourness or juiciness coming from the pineapple on warm, it is completely dominated by the white floral note of the tuberose. I like this one more on warm than I did on cold, mostly I think because that pineapple does disappear. But I will say that if you do not like white florals, you do not want this one. But if you're looking for something that combines a really nice white floral with a beachy coconut vibe, I would say snag this one. And it's a really beautiful scent. And honestly, I'm not sure that my placement in the 8 is a fair ranking, but it's just the other ones are so good that that's just that's just how it plays out. But the last 6 are amazing, and they all deserve a good spot, but you can't do it when there's 8 of them. So the shocker of the group for me was the Neroli Sands. I did actually bump that down to number 6. So as you'll recall on cold impression, this was my number 1 choice. I love Neroli. I was really excited about the orange blossom, which is very authentic in terms of the way it smells. My complaint is that on warm, I feel like the orange blossom is very, very, very strong. It is overpowering to me. To be fair, I am not like a huge floral lover. I like florals, but if you were to say, what's your top fragrance families, it wouldn't be in the top. It's kind of what I burn during spring and summer because it's the appropriate season for it. But in general, I'm not a floral lover. And in particular, I would say I'm not a white floral lover. Again, I don't dislike it. It's just not my thing. So with it really strengthening on the orange blossom note, I feel like the neroli kind of gets dominated by that orange blossom, and you do get, which was good, you do get more of the driftwood on warm, which does help to balance it. But even then, it's just so strong that I felt like it was too much. So it does become more beachy, but also much more floral. I would put in my notes in parentheses, I put sun-kissed citrus. So again, I feel like I'm getting like a, orange blossom on the beach vibe. It's really pretty. But again, if you're not into white florals, I would say skip it, which is why it jumped down so far in where I had it in my initial ranking. So number 5 is On the Cloud. This one is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful fragrance, but it is straight up a copycat of In the Stars. Although I will say I like this one better. The musk in this one is sweeter, and I feel like it does a better job of balancing the amber note that's in it. It's just really, really pretty when it's warmed, and that white lily kind of creeps in, but it doesn't dominate. For me, I just get the amber and the musk balancing in a really nice way. Now, I will say also that I think all of these are supposed to be dupes of like current high-end fragrances. I do not like perfume. I don't wear perfume. I like how perfume can smell, but for me, it's so highly concentrated and really strong that it's usually off-putting. So I'm confident that there is a knockoff perfume for all of these. And I did some quick Googling, and I have some ideas of like, oh yeah, I bet that's supposed to be, whatever. But I'm not going to make any guesses because I don't smell perfumes. But if you have ideas of which perfumes these are trying to copy and you want to share that as a community, go ahead and put that in the comments below. But I know that the In the Stars is supposed to be a dupe of a perfume, so I assume this is also supposed to be a dupe of that perfume. But again, I have no context. So I don't know. And I know some of you may be surprised that I'm not into perfume, but it's just not my thing. Perfume tends to give me headaches from the strength, and I don't appreciate it in the same way as I do candles. Okay, so that was number 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're getting into 4th place, which 4th place is actually burning behind me. That's the vanilla, the Oh So Vanilla. Yeah, that's So Vanilla. This one is such a beautiful candle, y'all. Again, I feel like it deserves a higher place, but with its competition, that's where it ended up. It's coming in 4th place in my warm ranking. So I did write that the vanilla increases and that the cashmere kind of tones down, and I'm smelling it now. That's absolutely the case. And in terms of its connection to other candles I'm familiar with, I feel like the cashmere in this is the cashmere that's in Snowflakes and Cashmere by Bath and Body Works. I want to be clear that I have really some struggles with smelling citrus, so I don't get clementine in that candle. So if you get clementine in the Snowflakes and Cashmere, this probably isn't a match, but I don't smell the clementine in that. So for me, this is the exact same cashmere note. The vanilla is super, super close to being the same, but the Snowflakes and Cashmere has like a hint of caramel in it. And this one, if you were to take out the caramel and then add in some of the marshmallow sweetness that's in Vanilla Cloud by Bath and Body Works, you would have that So Vanilla. It's just really warm and gooey vanilla-y. I love it. This one will be a repurchase for me. I still don't get a strong hint of that pepper, the pink pepper in there, but I can get kind of a vibe that there's just a little bit of sharpness to it. It barely comes through, but it's just enough to kind of be like, what's that? On warm. On cold, I didn't get it at all. So definitely going to be rebuying the That's So Vanilla. once I'm through with this one. And I'll probably add this to my April rotation because I really like it and want to burn it, focus on it. Number 3 is the Spring Forward. This one was so pretty, y'all. I absolutely love this candle. Love the color too. So in terms of how it evolved, I feel like really what this becomes, the apple almost completely goes away. It kind of just adds this, I think sharpness is the right word. You don't get the juiciness from the apple on warm. Instead, what you do get is the really strong daisy, and then you get almost what smells like a floral, like greens. It says crisp bergamot. I don't really feel like I get bergamot much. This just feels like really deep floral greens with daisies. And daisies can smell a bit, it's not a negative thing. They can smell a bit dusty or like really polleny. That's my best way to describe it. And you get that on warm with this candle. So if you're into florals, into greens, you like kind of that brightness you can get from an apple or a bergamot, I would go with this one. Again, I don't think the brightness, you'd have to tell me it's bergamot and apple. It just feels kind of bright to me, and it blends really well with the daisy fragrance that is a little bit more earthy and grounded in that like pollen dusty note. So beautiful, love it. Adding this to my April rotation, and if it's still available, will probably be a repurchase for me. The last two, y'all, I can't choose a favorite. They're both so good. Okay, I'll choose a favorite. So number 2 is gonna be the Looking Rosy. Y'all, this one, total shocker. Oh my gosh, it is so gorgeous on warm. The cold sniff just doesn't do it much justice. Okay, so my description is going to sound kind of weird, and it's going to make you think this is a stinky candle, but I absolutely love it, and this is not a negative judgment, but the first thing I thought of when I smelled this was like a rose that's been in a crypt, which sounds really macabre and kind of dark, but also I love Halloween. I love anything spooky and like dead. So for me, this is just amazing. It smells the dewy pear almost comes through as a musty fragrance on warm. And again, that's not an insult. I don't think musty stuff smells bad in candles. But if you don't like the kind of dusty note that's in like Book Loft or Iris and Cedarwood, both of those are by Bath and Body Works, then I'm not sure you'd like what feels like the dewy musty note in this one. I am here for it. I absolutely love it. And that water lily just adds kind of like a greenness to it. So you get this weird like death dying vibe with this really fresh, bright vibe. And then you've got that rose in the background, and it's just really, really pleasant. The closest thing I can think of to what this smells like, and I want to say it's almost a 1-for-1, but this one's just a little bit more perfumey, is Yankees Enchantress Spell. It's that same vibe. So it gives off this very like mystical, Halloween-y fall rose to me. It's going to be hard for me not to burn this right now because I do really like it a lot. I wish it was February because I could be like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy like 3 of these and just burn through 2 of them this month. But I don't see myself putting this in my April rotation. I could definitely see putting it in May because it's a rose scent and it's more feminine. But I might just buy a couple of these, one for May, one as a backup, and another one for my October rotation because it gives me like cryptic vibes. This was the big surprise on warm for me. I really love that one and bumped it way up. And then my number 1 is holding its place, still well deserved. And this one is the Pure Comfort. I don't know, the label color could possibly be biasing me, but this is just such a beautiful candle. What are you doing? Even PB likes it. Okay, so this one on warm, I do feel like you get more of like a woody smoke note. It's not super smoky. It's not campfirey. It more just smells like you cut wood and you're getting ready to light a fire. So it's a woodsy, rich note, and then that tonka bean and I don't know, it could be like tonka wood and tonka bean. I know the picture shows just the tonka beans, which is usually what brings the vanilla or like an almond note to tonka candles. But then I'm also getting a wood that smells like tonka. So there might be some sort of combination in there. But at any rate, it's just really beautiful. It's woodsy. You get this really deep vanilla from the tonka bean. The cardamom creeps in there, but it's so subtle. It's not overpowering. It's not too strong. It just adds this really nice layer of warmth. And then you get the coconut, but the coconut is not creamy at all on warm. It doesn't even necessarily feel like fleshy to me on warm. On cold, you get what feels like almost like coconut flesh, but this feels more like husk. It's like a nutty, earthy note, which might actually be a part of the tonka and the coconut's just completely disappearing. But as I'm struggling on warm to smell the coconut, all I keep thinking of is like husk, coconut husk. So this is very, very, very earthy. I wouldn't consider this masculine in the sense that I don't get like a cologne note. It doesn't feel like a lumberjack's wearing it. It just feels very grounded, very warm, and very earthy to me, and I absolutely love it. I have struggled to find good tonka candles. The one that even comes close to this is Village's candle. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it up here. It's one of their Halloween candles. That's the one that is closest to the tonka note that's in here. So also, Greg over at All About Candles will love this one. I'm gonna have to like tag him in this in this video because I know he loves tonka, and he actually turned me on to the Village candle. So I have to share the love and tell him about this one. He's got to add this one to his cart. Also, if you don't watch Greg, you absolutely should. He does quite a few Goose Creek reviews, and they're all amazing. And he's just got some really fun stuff on his channel. He does like a burning questions. He does a Sunday wrap up with all of his wax empties. Just a wealth of information. I really appreciate him and the stuff he creates. So you should check him out as well. Okay, that is my ranking. It is my warm impressions. I mean, for the most part, I feel like they kind of stayed the same with cold. Really, the only two surprises were the Looking Rosy and the Neroli Sands. I think the other ones were pretty true to the cold vibe. I haven't lamped any of these. I will say that the vanilla one, which is burning behind me, is pretty low throw. That one might actually be one that I try lamping to see if I get anything else out of it. Let me just look and see if I had any other low throwers. And again, to be fair, this is first burn. Yeah, it's just the vanilla one I noted as a low throw. It's first burn. Sometimes candles don't come to life really until the second or third burn. So for now, I'm going to hold off judgment on that one being low throw, but I can tell you first and second burn so far, it's low throw. So I think it's probably going to stay that way. But you could always combine it. So I like to combine candles if they have low throw. So I would absolutely combine this with Vanilla Cloud that I have in a 3-wick. I would combine this with Kringle's, their new vanilla St. Patrick's Day candle, which I think is already sold out. I would combine this with the vanilla, is it vanilla brown sugar from Bath and Body Works? I'll put a picture up here. I can't remember what it's called. But you could always combine it with other ones to help draw it out. It does help, I think, to combine a concoction that is beautiful and fills in what I'm in an open concept space. Because it's not filling it right now. It's actually I can barely smell it. And it's just right there behind me on the shelf. So it's struggling a bit. All right, y'all, let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and put those in the comment section below. And which ones are you going to get? Have you already got some? Are you excited to receive them? I really do hope you check these out. This is just such a stellar line. I am so impressed. And wow, you know, Goose Creek wows me with their collabs, and some of their other candles, I'm like, that's okay. These are all amazing. I'm really excited to have them and so glad that I have an excuse to buy them all because, hey, I have a channel to run, y'all. All right, I hope you have a really awesome Tuesday. I will see you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.